Hello and welcome to the BlockLeaders video and podcast with me, Gillian Gossel. Today, my guest is my great friend and influential man, very influential man in the crypto space, Justin Roberti, who's a writer and producer, predominantly with Benzinga, lots of other publications as well, but more recently became the co-founder of the hottest, the friendliest meme coin on Base. So Justin, and the name
That's right.
Lambow. Lambow is the name. So thank you so much for coming on this podcast.
Thank you. Lambo with a W, of course, at the end. Very glad to talk to you right now, Jillian. Jillian and I have known each other for a while, so it's great to catch up. Yeah, we've had a lot of things going on, including the founding of Lambo just about a month ago. Maybe it's more like 5 weeks. I think we have 4,000 people on Telegram right now, and boy, it's been an incredible experience. We kind of came into this I joined it in a lot of ways for the learning and also because I knew my co-founder well. But it has been quite an adventure. It's been exciting.
So may I ask, the first question is that there's been a lot of excitement about meme coins for a while. And then there was all the conversation, meme coins are dead, meme coins are dead. So first of all, to ask you, are meme coins dead?
Of course they're dead. Of course they're dead. The wisest people in the industry have been saying they're dead for 7 years or something like that. I mean, honestly, really the pundits, the especially the crossover commentators who want to talk about TradFi and digital assets, have been calling them dead for years and years. And in a lot of ways, it is the contrarian side of me that sort of drove me into meme coins because I kept wondering, why are people so vociferously opposed to these meme coins? What is it that meme coins are continuing to do right because they continue to endure? I mean, I saw a Wall Street Journal headline declaring them dead as recently as just a couple of months ago. Every time there's a downturn, the mainstream media and TradFi would be happy to put the meme coin phenomenon 6 feet underground, call it over and done with and move on. But it is not dead, of course. In fact, we found, if anything, the movements of meme coin seem to be decoupling from Bitcoin, which is, we should remember, of course, the original and the OG in the meme coin space. If you look at a meme coin like Doge, especially blue chip meme coins, it is staked in faith, just the same, and in belief of its users, the same way that Bitcoin is. It is in many ways the dark sister of Bitcoin. A lot of maxis wouldn't be happy to hear me say that, but I think that people fail to understand what it is that meme coins are providing in the ecosystem, and that's why particularly your retail investors will continue to invest in meme coins, will continue to pump their favorite projects even as the rest of the market's down. And we have seen that. I mean, we're not totally immune to the market at Lambo or with any other projects, but in a lot of ways we follow our own trajectory because we're riding out the beliefs of the people who are constantly pumping and believing in our project. And when I say pumping, I don't mean just buying. It's much more complicated than that. People who are on the boards day in and day out, doing raids, posting encouragement to each other. This is in many ways a lifestyle choice for people, and
I
I'm here
like that.
for it, and I'm here to empower it. Yeah, it
Which brings
absolutely
me,
is.
you were saying that the TradFi people do not understand what meme coins offer. So is that what they offer? A lifestyle choice? Is that the crux of it?
That's one way to put it. Meme coins are nothing less, when looked at as a whole, than a grassroots, global, and of course, therefore, decentralized financial movement. Um, you know, we all know that there are 1,000, maybe 10,000 entities on all of planet Earth to whom every dollar we spend matriculates sooner or later. All capitalism consolidates. You've got the Unilevers of the world, and you've got the Credit Suisses of the world. But honestly, the real holding corporations where the money's really going, I probably don't even know the name of because they're not out there publicizing themselves. Anytime you spend a dollar with something like Lambo and it's not matriculating to the same 1,000 entities that are receiving it over and over again, first of all, they are delightfully agog that you would do such a thing. And I've heard it over and over again. Pundits don't like it because they can't predict it. They don't understand it. Capitalism looks at us completely in terms of a spreadsheet and where our money is being spent. Our only real vote, especially here in the US, in my opinions, that's kind of where I'm live in the US. That's what I'm kind of an expert on. Um, our only real vote is where we spend our dollars. And so the subversive act of putting your dollars into the memosphere as opposed to something that has already been vetted, adopted, and subverted by TradFi, by big institutions. Because really, guys, with the event of ETFs, what do you think's happening? Like, I love Ethereum, I love Bitcoin, I'll always love Bitcoin. But in the meantime, we have billions of traditional investors who now have exposure to Bitcoin, exposure to Ethereum, and most recently Solana without even having to open a digital wallet.
Mm.
They're not part of our decentralized movement, or at least, I mean, they could be, but they don't have to be in order to participate, in order to provide all that liquidity. What we're doing is providing liquidity directly for people who still believe in the basic tenets of blockchain, who still believe in being there on the ground floor of something and watching that thing become big, before big finance takes it all away from us, which to a large, in a large part, they will. But that's just what's going to happen. That's the evolution. We're not going to say no to it because we will all like to see $100,000 Bitcoin, for example. And so we're not going to say no to these institutions when they come in a big way. But look at all the shenanigans that were happening with the German government selling off Bitcoin the other day and what that did. Like, are we really talking about a currency that's independent of state at this point? It's a currency that still lives within a world. There still is a small glimmer, a small window of opportunity for us to invent something that's truly our own. And what meme coins do right is essentially lead with the brand and lead with the audience association. So they establish that audience relationship and then they move on to determining what the utility is from there. This is kind of a
That's
course correction over what NFTs did. NFTs kind of launched the brand with attitude and then tried to figure out what to do with it after the fact. Meme coins are kind of carrying the torch for what NFTs did in 2020, but we're doing it better in a lot of ways.
Oh, okay, this is really cool. So first off, it's a lifestyle choice. It's voting. It's a voting choice. And it is, I say the real vote is how you spend your money. And now it is inverting. People think, oh, there must be utility. And you're going, no, no, create the meme coin, bring in the people, and then let the community decide where it's going. That is really true democratization, isn't it, of money?
It is, and we're not officially a DAO or anything at this point. We could be going in that direction. I'm sure if we continue to build to a certain critical path, we might have to establish like DAO style voting. For right now, what we are is simply very democratic. When if you're investing in Nestle or Procter and Gamble, for example, you can't expect to have the founders coming on and speaking to you directly every week, and that's exactly what we're doing. I mean, the other thing that I think Lambo's doing that's kind of innovative is really exploring the fact that unlike a lot of other projects in the space, because I've covered L1s and L2s when they were, particularly when they were competing, kind of making their big land grabs in the beginning and competing for space, competing for customers and projects. They're not in the position where they can necessarily say that a win for one person in the space is a win for everybody. In our case, we are mainstreaming crypto itself, bringing people into the space. And we are creating sort of a pot of alternative investment dollars, which adds liquidity to the chains that we're working on. So, Lambo being on base is, a great boon to base in a lot of ways, us and projects like us. Solana, of course, has gotten a whole new life breathed into it by its meme coin community. It's very interesting how we're able to make a change just by being involved at this point. And honestly, Jillian, I think it's partially coming out of people's desire to be involved with something from the ground floor. I could have bought Bitcoin when it was a fraction of a penny. I didn't understand what the person was explaining to me at the time, and I paid no attention. I have a wonderful track record for not being at all prescient about what's going to happen in
Meet your
technology.
sister. Meet your sister.
Uh, But with Lambo, you do have the opportunity to not only get on board with something at the ground floor level, but then also to have kind of a direct say in what it is we're building and what direction we're taking it. I think that's why meme coins struggle whether to add utility or not, because utility can be limiting. To me, right now, our real stake value is in the participants in the community that supports us every day. I think, like I said, I think we have about 4,000 of them on Telegram right now, 1,500 on Twitter or something. But it's gotten to be really very, very active. And on every time we're out there, building the narrative in some way by doing interviews like this, by doing our AMAs, we do a couple of
Mhm.
weeks. This is how we build our value, and then we take our direction as a community-led coin from the people that we're working with.
Do other meme
And we
coins
have
work that
ideas.
way?
What's that?
Do other meme coins work that way, or would you be unique?
You know, yes, a lot of like that is in line with the general ethos of meme coins in many
Mm.
ways. I think that I'm just articulating it more clearly than they often do, but there are a lot of caveats I would add to that. As another thing that I do that we didn't talk about at the very beginning is I've hosted hundreds of Twitter Spaces over the past while. And through Gotbit, I host one of the largest meme coin Twitter Spaces out there. We'll get 250,000 people on a show and stuff. And what I've found from talking to all these meme coin projects is, taken as a whole, there's some of my favorite guests because they're exciting, they're innovative, they're creative. Do they have the chops of traditional businessmen a lot of the time, or business people? Not always. No. I mean, I think kind of like some NFT projects, some meme coins launch with a great business plan. Others launch with a business plan that would not be adequate to launch a Dunkin' Donuts in your town. Like, I think that people kind of come into this just kind of stumble into it and don't really always know how to fulfill. I think that's part of why we have the number of rugs that we've had in our space, is that people really don't know how to live up to the promises that they're making. Part of what makes me excited about the coin that I'm working on is my undoxed co-founder, who I call Big Lamb. Has major marketing experience. Well, I do too, honestly. I've been in this space for about 25 years, but he has major marketing experience and the resources behind him to make sure that we're doing fresh art every day and to make sure that we're interacting with the audience and finding new ways to kind of expand our reach and extend our brand on a daily basis. And that's really what this is. We're building the brand right now. We find sellable products around the brand later on. As the value of the brand increases, everybody benefits, and everyone on the ground floor right now, benefits as well. That's the goal. It's kind of a communal project with our 4,000 Lambros and Lambras on our group.
Do you think that
Fascinating, honestly.
yeah, it's as a social experiment, it couldn't be more fascinating. Do you think you will bridge into the physical world?
Absolutely. Absolutely. For one thing, I don't think I'm spoiling anything by mentioning merch. Like, we already have merch coming up, and I'm hoping that we're going to be doing merch in terms of limited drops. So that's absolutely a thing. But we also have, I'm going to remain very vague about this. We have other ideas about what utility might look like in the future, but we're waiting to get that two-way communication and feedback, essentially. Like,
Mm.
that's something that we have that other brands just don't have. I mean, the buying experience has becoming increasingly dehumanized in our society, particularly. You can't necessarily find a human being to talk to you about it, let alone invest in a thing and then have the people running the show come back and talk to you about it. And that's what Lambo is able to offer, kind of that two-way exchange. Just come to you with some brilliant ideas. Like, from day one, people were incredibly invested. Like, I'm not exaggerating at all when I say that I found it like genuinely touching in a lot of ways, like how invested people got and how quickly. It's
Ah,
really kind of amazing. And that's, again, another thing that kind of turned me on to meme coin projects. I found that if I had B&B Chain on one of my Twitter Spaces shows, and I think that they have 2.2 million followers on Twitter, they'll get a certain number of people turning
mm,
out to my show because they advertise for us. But I've seen meme coins that have 5,000, 10,000 people following their Twitter accounts, who have illustrated more ability to actually mobilize their followers, it goes to show that they have a whole different level of relationship. They have a strong relationship with their audience. And that's what we're trying to build up with Lambo. He is the nicest lamb on base. He is the unofficial mascot of base and really the friendliest. And part of how you're going to see that is we have a series of shows coming up, which are little mini partnerships, just to show that we support other meme coins, those happening on base and those are not. Let's fucking go, which LFGO, which is it's sort of a Lego based generative AI generated art project. So they're kind of interesting. We're gonna do a spaces with them next Wednesday. And then after that, we've got Tashi lined up. I don't want to skip one. We've got a great real world assets project, a condo lined up as well. And I'm probably not going to remember the fourth off the top of my head. I should go and look at it. But yeah, we've got a
You,
nice
you can send me the
dance card
agenda.
of
Not
upcoming
out.
projects. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very cool though because like I think to support most degens out there have multiple meme coins in their wallets.
Mm,
To me, I think that NFTs got it slightly wrong, or that what they offered was slightly inadequate. They would give you a PFP,
mm,
and this PFP could be, customized to you if you wanted this particular ape that you felt was representative of you, or cool cat or sneaky vampire or whatever it was. And what we're offering, or what I think is happening with meme coins isn't really an innovation of Lambos, but what's happening is I think, having played Dungeons and Dragons and other tabletop RPGs since I was like 9 years old, I relate very much to the idea of like a character sheet. And I think
mhm.
instead of just one PFP summarizing your online persona, it's more like your wallet, and the wallets that you choose to show are more like your character sheets now. So you might have some socially conscious coins in there. You might have a bunch of Doge or Bonk or something. You because maybe you want to invest in a certain percentage of blue chips in the meme space. You have some Bitcoin in there. And then maybe you want to take a chance on something that's like a new project you can get in the ground floor with, and that's something like Lambo. I think that's how people end up characterizing themselves. It isn't all summarized just in one PFP. People are able to create a more nuanced picture of themselves with their wallets, kind of using them like character sheets.
So I am what I hold.
In a sense, yes, or at least what you choose to show that you're holding in that
Yeah.
particular wallet. So I
Yes.
think most
Yes.
people doing this have multiple wallets. Yeah.
What is the biggest challenge that you're facing being a successful? I mean, you're 6 weeks in, fastest growing, friendliest Lambo. What are the challenges going forward? Well,
Well,
maybe actually to build it to this point and then going forward. Two-part question.
I think Big Lamb and I are great
Big Lam.
complementary forces to each other because he is so material and immediate and here to accomplish tasks, whereas I remain kind of philosophical. So I'm going to give you a philosophical response.
Mm-hmm.
I think honestly, the biggest challenge that we have, the biggest single challenge, has to do with everyone's expectations around what meme coins are supposed to mean. And
Mm-hmm.
so we get these questions that, if I examine beyond face value, like it really, like how much are you intending to take Lambo to? Like that was a question I got in the spaces not that long ago. And if I really had an answer for that, I think that that would be a really bad sign. Like if I said 50 million without thinking about it, well, then that indicates that I'm going to dump at 50 million, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
and that is not at all what we're going for. What I want to see is for Lambo to exist long term. The needle goes up, the needle goes down. People continue to believe in our brand because we give them things to do. We show them what we're doing. We show them the different innovative ways in which we're growing, most of which is just good marketing, to tell you the truth, and good partnerships program. That's what we're talking about with these other meme coins. Also having a sense of where we fit in the overall community. I think that's going to be very important, and giving some respect back to the community. So in a lot of ways, one of the biggest challenges is expanding perceptions around what a degen is and what a degen values. Honestly, it's just not true. I've heard a lot of people assert that degens only care about price. To me, the price of a coin is one of the least interesting aspects of it. It's something I almost never talk about. So, what we're here to accomplish something. We're here to build a community that everyone can be proud of. So, I believe the challenge right now is to get everyone on board with the vision and to continue to expand and amplify that vision. And the greatest challenge going forward is a matter of continuing to build on that vision with something that's substantive, that's trackable, and that we can share with the audience on an ongoing basis. But, so far we have it pretty laid out. I mean, like I said, I'm lucky in that Big Lamb as a partner. It helps focus me on more tangible things, which is good for the community. So we always have something new to share. I mean, it's like launching. It's a lot like having kids for that matter. It's like you have kids and you think, okay, I've gotten through the first month. That was the really hard part, and then you realize, no, they don't just go away. Got years and years and years more. And that's kind of how we are with that's how I feel about our community right now. We've got this family that we've set up. We have a responsibility to that family. So that is it's a big deal, but it's an interesting challenge that I'm really looking forward to.
Tell me, you say the family, are they all degens or is there a scattering of older folk in there too?
Oh, I just use that term lovingly at this point. At this point, I'm going to call myself a degen. I don't think I fit it demographically. I'm just kind of calling all of us that. I mentioned earlier, we call each other Lambros and then Lambras, and really wherever you fit in the spectrum is fine with me. However you wish to lamb identify, we love to have you, and we are happy to have you on board. Lambo really is for everyone. So,
Just
and
just don't
it's still
mention
at a
mint sauce.
what's that?
Just don't mention mint sauce.
I've never had lamb, but I've heard it isn't all that good. Is it good?
Oh, I love it, I must confess. Sorry
Oh,
about
do
that.
you? Okay.
My children are
All right.
vegetarian, they'd be horrified of me. So tell me,
Well,
let
if you
me
ever take a picture of it, don't add us, right?
no,
You'd
no, no.
be horrifying.
Lamb chops was a famous children's puppet here as well. Anyway,
Oh, right, sure, yeah.
so just tell me a little bit about the financials then. So you're the fastest growing. Give me an idea of volume, price. I know price is unimportant. Just give me an idea that as a marker.
We had an all-time high of 2.5 million. We reached over 1 million on the first day. It's been sort of a hard beat up market for everyone for the
Mm.
past couple of weeks. With that thing I mentioned with Bitcoin being depressed, which tends to affect other coins. Um, you know, it isn't the thing that I focus on the most. To me, it's like if we are at 1 million today or whatever, it has almost no bearing on where we could be tomorrow. Where I see the staked and enduring value is when I see 4,000 Lambros and Lambras still clamoring every day on the group for a Lambo, and that we absolutely have some influence over. We, as the founders, we make sure that we take them seriously, we listen to them, we give them positive ways to participate in the community, just like they wrote about in the Bitcoin white paper. I mean, that's kind of what this boils down to. Like, people need a focus for all this enthusiasm. They want to feel that they're building something. That's what I stake my long-term value in. That, and personally, although I may be in the minority on this, I try to look at things in terms of a 5 year window. So
Mm.
having 2 bad weeks, I'm not going to get all twisted up about that. Essentially, um, I will say that it is the idea of starting a meme coin as a quick way to make a buck is just patently not true unless you're trying to abuse your community and use them as exit liquidity, which we absolutely are not. We love you guys. We're in this for the long term. We hope that you are too. I want to see where this goes. Like I'm really like, it could sound like posturing on my part, but I've been writing about meme coins for a couple of years already. I wanted to see this side of it, and I've not been disappointed about how eye opening it's been.
Do you think, or how many meme coins will there be in the future? Say in 5 years' time, do you expect more or less,
I
or just
hope,
Lambo, just Lambo?
I expect, or how many, wait a minute, do I, no, not just Lambo. Lambo likes having friends. We're not trying to be the only, you're not trying to eliminate all other, this is not
Mm.
Highlander where there could be only one, to make a very nerdy 1990s reference. No, I think that there will continue to be more and more and more, because I think in many ways, meme coins have become a way to quickly check the pulse from, we call it the meta now, but I used to call it the zeitgeist before I was working within meme coins, where you kind of like check what people are thinking about. I mean, I know
Mm.
it's crashed by now, but when Kamala Harris was became the presumptive presidential candidate for the Democrats, her meme coin shot right up. When Donald Trump survived the assassination attempt, his meme coin shot right up. I think that like we live in a world where in the not too distant future, like imagine a situation where every public figure of almost any sort has a meme coin staked around them. Like, look what happened with Roaring Kitty and what that did to GMEs and Roaring Kitty on Soul's futures. Like, it brought them up hugely. GME, I think, I was definitely in the top 10 of coins for a while there. I don't know where they are right this moment. I bet it's probably calmed down a little bit, but that's all because an influencer came back. Now, imagine a situation where as Jillian enters this space, she creates a Jillian meme coin. And when you start doing your podcast, it gets a bump. When you start writing for Cointelegraph, it gets a bump. And that's exactly the kind of thing that we're talking about here. When people see activity, see interest, it's a
Mm.
way for them to express their approval and disapproval, essentially, of whatever you're doing. A little strange, kind of mind blowing to think about the implications of, definitely, but it is an interesting way for the world to view and interact with itself in a way
Yeah.
that definitely has that two-way communications that Web3 is meant to promise us.
That is very interesting. I love the concept that every person with a public profile might have their own meme coin, and their
Well,
activities then are judged. I mean, much better than mentions on social media, because this is a direct either vote of
right.
confidence or not.
Right.
Very interesting.
As soon as we become a brand, that's the
Mm.
thing. Like as soon
Mm.
as you became a journalist and a public figure in any way, you've become a brand on some level. As soon as you become a brand, you become potential fodder for a meme coin. Of
Mm.
course, the way it is right now, somebody could create the Jillian coin without telling you, and that's something that's going to have to be addressed at some point or
Yeah.
another, probably. But
It's a bit like
it's
back
kind
in
of
the day when website names came up, and you had lots of domain name sitters who bought the names, I don't know,
right,
whoever who was
right.
famous, they bought the
Yeah,
name.
people squatting on names.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Do you know something, Justin? This has been a very interesting call because I love meme coins in the sense that they're just mad. I don't trade them. And I have some Doge. That's as near as I've got to a meme coin. Although you said Bitcoin in itself is a meme coin, but
Is a
it's
meme coin. Yeah.
yeah, it's because it's all about belief. It's all about belief.
Hmm.
Yeah, which is fiat, is fiat, whatever. This belief. That is
Right.
interesting. Whoa.
Yeah, absolutely. We're quantifying, you know, we all see it happening. To talk a little bit about the zeitgeist or the
Mm.
meta, we all see it happening when sorry about the tacky example, but it's recent. When the Hawk Tuah girl came out, I
Mm.
remember seeing Hawk Tuah for like 2 days and being like, what the hell is this? Until I finally watched the video. There is no accounting for what is going to grab people's
Yeah.
attention,
She was
right?
very
And
charismatic, that girl. Very charismatic.
she remains
Whoa.
very charismatic,
Yes,
and she's
she
not
is.
doing an
Yes.
OnlyFans. She's just
Yeah.
here to make jokes, guys. She was very
Yeah.
clear about that.
Yeah.
But it is in some ways you're making bets on what's going to grab the public attention
Mm.
next. And
Mm.
it's hard, and it's hard to say. Like it's something I
Yeah.
preoccupy with myself with all the time. Who knew that Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us was not only going to completely wreck Drake's career when Drake had all sorts of more mainstream success than Kendrick. I mean, Kendrick had too, but you know what I mean. And not only would it destroy him as function as a battle rap kind of thing, but also and settle that beef, but it would also become kind of the bop of the summer, the breakout hit of the summer, and it has. I mean, if you had known that ahead of time, what kind of bet could you have made on Kendrick Lamar? I bet that there is a Kendrick Lamar coin out there. If there isn't, there probably should be.
Yeah.
Like I think that this is what it's the same way they used to joke about how in Lloyd's of London, they would insure movie starlets' legs and that sort of thing, these abstract ideas and what value do they hold to us. This is an attempt to measure and quantify the things that we collectively as a people kind of like believe in. That's why you see so many meme coins that revolve around cats and dogs. One of the few things that the internet can actually coalesce around and agree is a good thing. So yeah, and lambs, hopefully lambs too. This is meant to be something
They
kind of
are
a
very
little bit
cute.
different and fun, but I love lambs. I love Shaun the sheep, so that helps.
Oh yes, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I actually can see lambs from my front door, so
Wow.
I'm surrounded by farms.
I think you have just earned, after this conversation, the title of Justin, Godfather of the meme coins. Because your thinking is
Thank you.
actually very, you're right, it's philosophical. This is actually, I didn't expect, well, no, I tell a lie. You're a very deep man, so I knew it was going to be an interesting call. But you have given me so much food for thought. And this is like people will be writing theses on this, and they'll be referencing Justin Roberti, saying this is the man that took the philosophy of the meme coin and explained that it was the zeitgeist of the people. It was a moment, it was
Right.
the meta.
And this is why
Wow.
you can't take it away from them. This is their
No.
opinion essentially.
It's their opinion.
This is people exercising their independent rights. And of course, I don't mean to. I mean, when I pick on Grayscale or B&B or whatever, I have friends of both organizations. I just figure I'm at least punching up if I go after some of the largest organizations in the world. But to examine them for a minute, why is it that the respectable crypto projects, when they become adequately respectable and adequately moneyed, immediately start acting like traditional finance? Like, what's with that? Have we come this far to start wearing slate gray pinstripe suits and start acting just as uptight as the people that we were kind of rebelling against in the first place? Folks, I think that,
Animal Farm
you
all
know,
over again.
well, yeah, exactly. And why are we doing that? Like, because we run too much of a risk of reproducing traditional finance, but worse, because our situation is newer. So we're trying to reproduce an existing thing. We'll probably end up not doing it as well. What I want to see is us come up with our own thing, is us build something from the ground up as we are with Lambo, and create an opportunity for people to, I think in some cases, usually in exceptional cases, I'll grant you, be able to build up your own sense of generational and intergenerational wealth that stands independent of all these guide rails, which folks have been set up to keep us out all this time. And the thing is, we kind of know that. It's just there's nothing up till now that has really allowed us to do anything about that. I don't look at meme coins as being a quarter in or a nickel in like a slot machine, the way that people who denigrate them try to be. I think it's people's attempt to believe in a thing, to believe in a vibe, and vote for that idea with their financial support. And I think it will only continue to grow. I also think that serious projects, if they are smart, will start to notice that meme coin projects are able to mobilize and use their audience in a way that larger projects just can't. And they're going to wonder why. Like, why isn't there a meme coin arm to B&B or Cosmos or Avalanche or what have you? Why isn't there a meme coin representative that's out there recruiting people onto the chain, recruiting projects onto the chain, and generally pumping for that chain over and over? There could be, and I think that if they're smart, having a meme coin, kind of like NFTs, will settle into being part of your Web3 marketing
Yeah.
matrix.
Yeah, because you have the people, you have the feedback, you have the community, and it's also at a step removed from the project you're controlling, but the meme coin attached has influence, but
Right.
not this.
And they will absolutely give you feedback. I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, I posted a nice Star Wars meme a while back, which turned out to be off color in ways that I hadn't noticed in my enthusiasm to post it. And we heard about that right away. That situation was corrected immediately, and that was taken right back down. And I'm thrilled by that. Think of how much we would have to pay if we were Pepsi to try and get this kind of feedback from our audience, telling us, no, that sounds a little bit off key. Or we talked about the market cap on Twitter, and they're like, that doesn't really sound very classy. And I'm like, okay, first couple of days, I don't mind. I mean, people who were all over telling me how to, launch raids on Telegram, that sort of thing. And man, I'm thankful for it. Like, it doesn't just take humility. That's just being smart. That's letting
Mm.
people who are out there trying to help you, so that we can collectively build something wonderful together. And I want to see Lambo flourish. Of course I do. And it will, because we're going to stay in there. We're going to make it continue to be active and flourish and be a great community for the next 5, 10 years. But I would love to see Jillian coin flourish too. I think that this is an opportunity for everyone, and not an opportunity that's necessarily going to be around forever. I could be wrong, but I'm kind of waiting for the regulatory guide rails, which are just going to continue to become more Byzantine, no matter who is in charge, to continue to clamp down. Because really, the powers that be are not really trying to have us not spend their money with them, folks. They don't like
Mm.
that. They can't keep track of that. That creates an unreliable system for them. So they feel kind of yucky about it. This is how we have things like where GameStop got completely, we cost hedge funds over $1 billion through the collective action of what, about 1,000 investors on Wall Street bets. They don't like to see that kind of things. They don't like to see empowered dumb money. I mean, that's what they called us quietly for decades. We're not so dumb now. We have exposure to all the same tools and indicators that they have. There's a lot of smart money out there in retail, and we have the power and ability to create our own thing. So whether you get into Lambo and you go ahead and check out the Telegram, check out my Twitter if you want to do that. Please join us. We are there for everybody. Or whether you're into your own thing, you're already doing something subversive just by stepping outside the guide rails that they provided for you.
Justin, I want to be in your gang. I absolutely do.
Well, come join us. Come
I
be a
will.
Lambro. We'd love to have you, man.
I
All
would
right.
love to.
Thanks, Jillian.
That is an
It has been
amazing,
wonderful talking to you.
amazing interview. Thank you so much. There's so much food for thought there. I really enjoyed it. Thank you. And as Justin said, go and follow, go and invest in Lambo and join the community. Thank you very
All right.
much.
DM me. Would love to talk about it. All right. Thanks. Thanks very much, Jillian. I'll talk to you
Thank you.
soon. All right, peace.